All right, here we are, video 13, research methods, my lovely astute researchers. Your proposals so far. So this is the exciting place where you're really starting to put together, like literally put together the pieces of your proposal and see how this all works together. So today we're going to talk about the title and the introduction, but this is in the context of the things you'll be putting together for me over the next week or so. In the next video, we'll talk about the parts that are in white, not yellow. So today we're going to focus on title and introduction, and today also in the next video, the rest of the things. Okay, so your lab manual discusses how to construct a proposal. It is right there, Lab 60. If you just look at Lab 60, this gives you a fantastic example of what you need to do and how it should look. Now, when you do APA style, and we'll talk a little bit about this in class, but when you do APA style, what you need is a running head on your paper. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and we'll do it by stopping a share and starting a share in the, let's see, Microsoft Word. All right, so here we are, running head. And so you need a 50 character running head. That's APA style. Your running head needs to be 50 characters or less. And so the way you do this, when you're in Microsoft Word, you can type like that, like in the middle, da da da. When you want to use to modify the head of the paper, you need to double click in that area, the header. Okay, so here you are on the regular paper and you are typing, and here you are in the header, you double click up here. And then you type in running head. You literally type in the words running head for your first page and the colon, and then you write your 50 character running head here. So it might be effects of running on mood, okay? If you want to check how many characters, obviously you can cut and paste, go to Google, find a thing that automatically counts characters for you. That's the easiest. Do that. And so you have to write running head. But I want it to stay what it said before because I don't want to modify my paper here. 50 characters, okay? Then in the middle of the paper, you type your title, your name, and Southern Virginia University. Don't type anything else. Don't type my name. Don't type your class. The only thing you need is your title, your name, and Southern Virginia University. That's it, okay? You also want to number the pages. The number goes on the top right. And so you can go to page numbers in insert, I think is where it is. I keep getting confused. Oh, yep, insert page number. And then you format it and it says, you say where you want it. You want it in the top right, okay? So on the second page, you don't have running head anymore. You take that part out. So you do your header, and what you need to say is that your header has, see up here on the top, a different first page. So you check different first page, and then you can put in a different header here, okay? Hopefully that helps. We're going to go back to the my PowerPoint here. Okay, so that's a little bit on APA style that you need in your paper. Just follow that format in Lab 60. Okay. I got this information from that website at Sacred Heart. This is information to help you write a title in case you need to. And I won't read through all of these. You can read through them if you want, if it's useful to you. But basically, you want to create a positive kind of dynamic impression. You want people to be interested. You want them to know exactly what you're talking about. You want to be clear. And so there are lots of things that you can do in a title, but I wouldn't spend a lot of time worrying about it. Here are some more of those things, 10 to 15 words. Don't include study of, analysis of, because that's sort of obvious. So it's unnecessary wordage. Correct grammar and capitalization, of course. We almost never use exclamation marks. You can use questions. You could say depression, colon, does rhodiola make a difference? Question mark. That would be a good title. Here are some examples, and we're going to go back to those 3 papers that we've looked at in the past. Effects of stretching on menopausal and depressive symptoms in middle-aged women, colon, a randomized controlled trial. So that tells you a lot of things about what the study will be. Now, this title, you will notice, is more than 50 characters. And so when you reduce it to 50 characters, you sort of make a short title. And so you might say, stretching on menopausal, or stretching for menopausal women. That might be your 50 character title. I would have to check to make sure that's 50 characters, but it would be short. And so you just figure out some way to shorten it that makes sense. Another title, modifying the impact of eveningness chronotype, night owls in youth, colon, a randomized controlled trial. Okay, so you can see how those work for titles. The short one at the bottom, rhodiola and solidroside in the treatment of metabolic disorders. That's a shorter title, but you still have a pretty good sense of what it might be about. Well, of course, you probably have to look up rhodiola and solidroside, right? And metabolic disorders, maybe. But that is, welcome to research. That's what we do. We look up stuff. Okay, let's talk about the introduction in terms of the last paragraph. So you worked on introductions, and you've worked on all of those 4 paragraphs. Let's just kind of clarify that last paragraph. This is the therefore this study paragraph. And you wrote a study design sentence in, I think, development 3. And this is where you use that sentence. Therefore, this study is an examination of, or will look at, or whatever it is. You write your hypothesis also. Put it at the end of this paragraph. And so right before you hit the methods section, you're finishing the introduction section by saying, this is what the study design is, and here's what the hypothesis is. For example, we're going to look at that stretching example again. I just cut and pasted this from the article. Therefore, stretching may help to improve, blah, blah, blah. The purpose of this study was to examine the effects of stretching on menopausal and depressive symptoms in middle-aged women. Now, for me, I want you to add a hypothesis. Just to be clear, just for the purposes of making this obvious in Research Methods 290. And so you would add this hypothesis. We hypothesize that stretching will reduce menopausal and depressive symptoms. Here's another example. We therefore designed this study to examine the effects of type of music on length of focus and concentration during studying in a group of college students. We hypothesize that classical music will increase length of concentration and focus. Then you review your introduction. Let's make sure that your grammar and spelling is beautiful. Be sure you don't use sentence fragments. You're going to get, there will be points taken off for a sentence fragments is for wrong grammar and spelling. So make sure you make that happen beautifully. You can go get help anytime from the writing lab. Take advantage of that, but don't expect that they will have a turnaround of one day. Okay. Give yourself plenty of time to get that help. You're also graded on logical flow. And so if you follow the 4-paragraph introduction, like we talked about last week in the video, then your logical flow will be there. And so you're graded on that. And then you need to use in-text citations. And what that means is every single point you make that should be supported by data needs to be supported by data using an in-text citation. So if you're making these points and you're not supporting them with data, this is not a scientific paper. You have to support what points you make with data. And then you're also graded on how thorough your research is. If it'll be obvious to me if you did a thorough job or not. So to sum up, we talked about your title. We talked about the last paragraph for the introduction. We talked about APA style and how to do some of those things like the running head. Of course, APA style also includes double spacing. Everything should be double spaced. So hopefully that will help you. See you next time.